Hey guys, Bob Moses here, and today we are playing San Andreas Multiplayer on the Welcome to Los Santos 2 server, and we're going to be doing a video which has been quite requested, and it's going to be basically a noob guide to San Andreas Multiplayer Welcome to Los Santos, and it's going to be kind of a beginner guide, so I'm not going to be able to cover absolutely everything in the game, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of take a new player through their first day in Los Santos. And if you've got any new players that are joining, you can feel free to share this video with them, get them up to speed a lot faster. This is going to be quite a long video, so I'm going to put quite a few timestamps at the bottom, so if there's certain areas that are of interest, just check it out down below. And the things we're going to be covering are things like jobs, gangs, organizations, heists, and missions. And again, that's not everything in the game, but it is going to kind of help you with a bit of a jump start and give you a bit of direction on your first day. The other thing to note is that I am playing on the weekend. Well, this video was made over the weekend, and there is double XP and RP earned over the weekend. So all the earnings that I get is kind of double the normal one in terms of XP, but when there's bonuses on, and we're about to start the summer bonuses now, or if you want to play over the weekend, it's going to be a lot faster for you. But yeah, so if you don't see what I see on the screen, then don't worry about it, just because it was over the weekend. I'm also going to be speeding up quite a lot of the sequences as well, so when I drive to different places, I'll just put on like turbo speed so it's not too boring. And yeah, hopefully this is useful. If you're watching the video, if you're a bit of a pro in the game, you can leave any recommendations in the comments as well. I'd love to hear what you recommend. So as we kick off, we're going to start off at the Los Santos airport. Give you a little bit of guidance there on that screen. The first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to press T to open up my chat, and I'm going to hide the chat. Now the chat is pretty useful, so you probably want to keep it open, but just for myself it gets in the way, so I'm going to hide it for now. And if you want to watch that tutorial again, just press T and then you can do the just type in /tutorial and you're good to go. So we're going to go grab a car from the car park, and there's going to be really only one mission that's actually given to you. Everything else in the game you're going to choose what you want to do, but there is one mission and you can skip it, but it's basically to go and meet Claude, who's the guy from GTA 3, and he's going to give you a car. Now I would recommend that you go and actually do this mission. It's super fast, so you don't have to worry about it like getting in the way or anything like that. And basically he will spawn in a whole bunch of different places. This time it's down on East Beach, and when you get there he's gonna give you a choice of 3 cars, and you can choose any one of those cars and it becomes yours and it's owned. So I would recommend you take the Sultan. That's the car on the far left hand side, and the reason why is because it's a 4-door, but it's also just a really good car, and chances are later in the game you're going to want to own a Sultan anyway, so you might as well get one for free right now. And then you're going to have to drive this car down to a garage, and it's going to basically give you a free garage. Now a Sultan's worth a couple of $100,000, and a garage is also worth a couple of $100,000, so by doing this you're almost $1 million up in free stuff just for starting out. So that's really cool. I'd recommend you do it. I got this garage at the back of Pershing, which is a really nice central garage. You can get random garages as well, like that spawn in other places, but this is a good one. Once you're there, you're going to get 20k and 500 XP. For myself, you'll get 250 if there's no boost on. When you have a car saved at the garage, it will always spawn, or it should always spawn when you go there. And you can also bring up your phone and dial in the mechanic. And by phoning the mechanic, he will then deliver your car. So if you're stuck out in like another town or something, you can just dial in the mechanic and your car will spawn. It doesn't always spawn, especially if you've parked at a garage, but you know, it's better than nothing. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to drive all the way out to San Fierro, and the reason we want to do that is to get our driver's license. Now, each of the 3 cities are quite different. So Los Santos, which is where we were, is by far the busiest city. So if you're going to be doing jobs and things like that, Los Santos can be a good place to do it, but can also be quite an annoying place to do it. So you'll experience the different cities and you'll see which one's your favorite. I tend to spend most of my time out in Las Venturas. but San Fierro is probably the quietest city out there. We're going to head out here to do our driver's license, and the reason for that is that most of the jobs out there, well, actually, I think all of the jobs now require a driver's license as a prerequisite. So if we just bring up our job by going /jobs and we just select any job, you'll see that once it's open, you'll see that there is a prerequisite of a driver's license. Some jobs will have other prerequisites, like you may need to do a whole bunch of skills in another job, or you may need a gun license. We'll talk more about jobs a little bit later on, but for now, let's just go get the driver's license so that it's out of the way, and we can then do any job that we want. So we're going to go up to this little computer, which is very much like the single player. The good news is that you only need to do one challenge. You don't need to go through all of them, so it will only take you a couple of seconds to do it. There are other driver's licenses out there as well. So there are aeroplane, boat, and motorbike. I do have a video. I'll put a link up at the top for that one, so if you want to find out about some of the other driver's licenses, you can go check that out. I tend to do it in first person mode. I don't know why. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to drive around in circles without hitting any of the cones. And again, it should only take you like 30 seconds to get this done, so it's a good thing to get out the way. Once you pass, it gives you this little certificate. It can take a while to get away from the screen, so if it gets stuck there, don't freak out. Just be patient and you'll get back into the game in a second. Once you've got your driver's license, you should get these little the Hotring racing cars should spawn over there, but they don't always spawn, and sometimes they're taken by other players. But it's another good thing to unlock it. I also just found this random wallet lying on the ground. If you see them, you can pick them up, get some free XP, and then you can go hand them in at the police station or steal cash. But yeah, you might as well just go and grab that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to head down this road a couple of blocks, and we're going to do a little bit of dumpster diving. Now, we are homeless people. After all, we don't have any real cash, we don't have any guns, so dumpster diving is a good option for us to get some free stuff and also get some XP. So there's two alleyways, and I'm going to speed this series up a little bit as we go through it. And basically, you're going to go up to one of these green dumpsters. They spawn all over the place, and you're going to press left Alt and you'll be able to search them. Even if you don't find anything in the dumpster, it's not a problem, right? We're still going to get the XP, and that's actually one of the main things we want here. We want to get as much XP because we want to get to level 5 as quickly as possible so we can get all the good guns. What we're really looking for though in these dumpsters is a gun, any kind of gun. And unfortunately, when I was going through this one, I actually didn't find any, which is quite unusual. I did find a lot of dildos and katanas and grenades and things like that, but I didn't find any guns, which was unfortunate, but you would usually find something. So early on in the game, it's quite difficult to get your hands on guns, so if you see them lying around, if you find them in dumpsters, it's a win. I'm now up to level 2 already, and again, we're going to try and get to level 5. We're going to use the lady at the end of the alley for a last bit of XP, and then bring up the map, and you'll see there's this little flag on the map. That's your city hall. There's one in each of these cities, and when we go to them, you're going to be able to get free cash from them basically every hour. It's going to tick up. That's only when Congress has I think it's called social support or social security, and you're going to get free money. I usually forget about it. I think most players forget about it, to be honest, but especially as a new player, this is going to be useful just to go get some free cash. So we're just going to go around the corner to social security and we pick this up. Again, there is one in each city, so just keep an eye out for that and don't forget to collect it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to head back around to the driving license place. Now, we could have actually done this the first time we had the driving license place, but I just wanted to keep the flow going, so I don't want to do it then. I did see a gun at the side, so I'm just going to stop, pick that up. You are going to see dead players and dead NPCs all over the place, so when you see them, stop, get the guns, and yeah, you'll thank me later for that. Then we're going to head over to the driving license place, and the reason we're going to do that is because there's a computer there and we want the computer. Again, you can do this the first time you're around if you want to, save yourself a bit of time. And what we want to do here is join an organization. So an organization is kind of like a guild, I guess, and you'll find them on the SecuroServe website. And basically, when you join an organization, you'll be able to work for this organization doing jobs, and you get paid really well for doing those jobs. So I really recommend that you join an org. And what you're looking for when you're joining an organization is a couple of things. First of all, you want to find an organization that gives you the highest cut for associates. You want to find one that has at least 3 offices, because that means there's an office in each of the cities. And then one that doesn't have too many members is also probably a good one, because you're easier to get in. So we're going to join this one, Sam the Bee's Guild. He's the CEO, and we've now joined the Bee organization. So you can do organization work every 30 minutes, and you get paid really well for it. So your CEO, who's a player, that's basically his guild or his organization, there'll be things called like CEO challenges where you may need to protect him inside a zone. You can do it, you cannot do it. And if you go /GPS, you can find your offices, and if you head down to the nearest office, which is office 13, then we're going to do an organization work there. When you see people driving around, like this guy doing a job, I would recommend you just stop and use the services. So whether he's selling a hot dog or ice cream or whatever, just go get that, because again, it's free XP, and we need all the XP that we can get, and you'll be helping him out as well. So we're going to go around. You can see down on the map when I went /GPS, got my organization, and we're now going to go inside this office. There's usually quite a lot of people hanging around offices because the different guilds all work from the same office. And inside the office, we can have everything we need, right? So we got our safe so we can store money. There's an ammo box to store guns, and there's a computer if we need it. So kind of all of those things. We don't really even need a house, to be honest, if we have an organization. If we go over to the board, we can select a job that we want to do. There's another player hanging around from our org. Yo, what's up, dude? And I'm going to do a pimp job, and some of the jobs will have a cooldown if other people have done it recently. And basically, to do kind of any job and an organization work in particular, you're going to be going to a car that spawns nearby, and you're going to basically do one skill of that job. So one job. And for the pimp, there's some different things you need to do for pimps, but for this one, I need to attack someone who didn't pay my bill. And we're going to get this guy. I love the way he turns around as soon as he sees me. And we're just going to grab a dildo, and we're going to knock him over the head, and we're going to get cash. Sick. So that's really good money, 48k, with no bonuses on for that. So that's good money. And with summer bonuses and things, you'll get paid even more for that now. Like I said, you can do organization work every 30 minutes of in-game time, and you can check on your organizer when your next one's due. You'll also get a little notification down the bottom. The other cool thing about organizations is if you bring up your N menu by clicking N, you can get CEO vehicles, which is basically FT or fully tuned full armor cars, and you can spawn them in. So you don't even really need to own your own cars. And very similar to the way the mechanic works, you can basically call in a vehicle, and you can use that. So particularly in the early game when you don't have a lot of your own vehicles, using the organization cars is really awesome. And I'm going to spawn in a helicopter, a Maverick, and then we're going to head through to Los Santos. Okay, cool. Back in Los Santos, we're going to go through to Ammu-Nation. And inside Ammu-Nation, we're going to be able to buy guns and things like that. Now, you can only buy weapons from level 2, and you're going to be able to buy basic stuff like armor, pistols, and basic shotguns. Any additional cool weapons like assault rifles and sniper rifles and stuff like that, you're going to need to get a license, so either half-cocked or fully cocked. And we're going to be focusing on getting the half-cocked in today's video. And to do that, you need to get to level 5, and you're going to need 100k. If you go /level, it will show you your level. You can also go /XP, and it'll show you the amount of XP you have on the current level as well. When I came out, it said there was a taxi nearby, So if you just look around, you can see there's a taxi coming up, and I would recommend that you use taxis where possible. To get in a taxi as a passenger, press G, and you can select anywhere on the map that you want to go to. You can also go /taxi to dial in a taxi. And the reason I'd recommend using a taxi where possible, especially in Los Santos, not really in the other cities, but Los Santos is usually tons of taxi drivers around, is you get paid, or you earn really good XP and RP for using a taxi. So even though you don't really have to pay them much, it's basically like free XP and free RP. So you want to definitely take advantage of that. I just asked this guy to take me to a random place, which is the 24/7, and there we go, 500 XP and 500 RP, which is really sick. So next up, we are going to do some jobs. So to do a job, you're going to go, or to look at jobs, you go /jobs, and you can see there's a whole bunch of different jobs available. Pretty much all jobs require you to get inside a vehicle to start that job. There are some exceptions, and some jobs also have prerequisites, like I mentioned earlier. So if we have a look at a taxi driver as an example, we need to do 50 bus driver skills, and we need a car license and things like that. So figure out what job you want to do, and if there's a prerequisite like the bus driver for the taxi, let's start having a look at that. And to do the bus driver, we're going to need to get inside a coach, that kind of vehicle. So we can go /locate car, and then we can choose which car we want to use for our first job. So if we search for the coach, which is the one we need for that one, it's going to tell us where the nearest one is. Sometimes if other people are using a car, it can be really far away, but this time it wasn't too bad, so it's all good. So just remember that, it's an important one, /locate car, and it will find you the car you need for a certain job. To do bus driver jobs, I don't necessarily recommend you do it as your first job, by the way, but there aren't any prerequisites for it, so you don't have to do any other job skills. And it is actually quite a nice job, gets you familiar with the city, driving around. And basically, to do a bus driver, you're going to go up to a bus stop. I'm actually kind of going the wrong way around the circuit, to be honest. And you're going to wait at the bus stop for a couple of seconds. Some people might get in as well, like this guy does, but you don't actually need human players on it. So it's not like the taxi where you need to give other people a lift. You actually just, you can just drive around with an empty bus and you'll still get paid. And so basically, I'm just going to go through a bit of a sequence. We drive up, stop at the bus stop, get paid, earn some XP, move on to the next one. And you can actually do them super quickly. So these are like about a minute apart from one another. So you can earn like 80p per minute, 80 XP, and then the cash. So you don't get paid a huge amount of cash per job, but you can smash the jobs out. So to get your 50 XP, or your 50 skills, sorry, to do the taxi, you do that pretty quickly, I would imagine. And yeah, so made some cash, made some XP, which is good. And then I ran into a bit of trouble. So as I was going around to do my next one at Marina, there was a bit of action going on at the burger shot. I don't really know what was going on. And then this guy came up with his cop car, and yeah, I ran into a bit of a troll. So this guy, I don't know why, just decided to grief, drop some stingers from his car, which popped my tires. That counts as an assault, so it's a good opportunity to show you. You can bring up your emergency services on your phone, and you can report people to the police. And then once he's been reported, you'll earn a bit of XP, but then he'll pick up stars, and then other human police officers will try and catch him. Unfortunately, those tire popping was the end of my bus driving career. I couldn't really carry on with that, and then the next bus was too far away. So I decided to head up to Los Venturas to do my old faithful work, which is baggage handler. I have a video on baggage handler skills. I'll put it up in the top. And this is super peaceful work. So you'll never really get anyone griefing you doing this, but it's also kind of boring. So or peaceful, depending on which way you want to look at it. And basically, you're just going to drive around, picking up the baggage and dropping off at another location. And again, it is actually really peaceful work, so you can just sort of put a podcast on in the background and grind this out. And you can see I'm earning even more XP and I think even more cash for doing this one. So it's actually a really nice earning job. And especially with things like summer bonuses on, you can actually make some pretty serious cash doing this. So we're gonna go through. We're gonna do this for a little while, and I made some XP, made some RP. Oh, sorry, not RP. Made some cash, and but most importantly, did it in peace. The next thing we want to do is really the secret weapon of earning XP. And if you want to earn XP quickly, especially on the weekend, I'd actually recommend you just do this first. So just go straight from Los Santos to Las Venturas and do this. So the trick to earning crazy amounts of XP is destruction derbies, and in particular the Cabageddon. You're going to do this next to this parking spot on the left. I'll bring it up on the map in a second. And basically it's a mini game, so there's lots of little mini games in Welcome to Los Santos, events and mini games that you can join. So you can keep an eye out on the chat and you'll see people hosting mini games, or you can host your own ones. And you're going to do it from that red spot over there. But first, let's bring up the map, and I'll just show you where it is, because this is an important thing that you're going to want to do. So it's just to the right of the strip. It's near one of the offices that you'll work at. And you're going to start off with 10k, which may seem like a lot, so you probably want to just earn a little bit of cash first, but it's not really that much money, and you will win some of them, which means you're going to make a lot more money back. But the important thing with the Cabageddon is that you can earn a lot of XP even if you lose. So I'm just going to fast forward on this one, and I actually did end up winning this one, like spoiler alert, but you do earn crazy amounts of XP for winning and a decent amount for losing as well. So if you come through to Las Venturas, you can just kind of farm it out. Especially over the weekend, you do need people to join. You don't earn any XP if it's just you, if nobody joins it. But over the weekend, people always join, or pretty much always join, and you can make some good cash as well. And for this one, kind of got lucky because right at the end, I actually got bumped in the right direction, which was cool. And yeah, let's just let this one play out for a second. And bang, 75k, but more importantly, 1000 XP, which is crazy, right? So, I mean, that was like a third of the way towards the next level I needed. Here's a guy doing organization work, so I'll do that. And then, yeah, I basically just farmed this out for a couple of minutes. I didn't really need to do too many. I won a few, lost a few, but managed to earn, yeah, a hell of a lot of XP in doing that. Winning's obviously great, but again, don't stress if you lose, because it's still a really cheap way of earning XP. Let's just do one more, two more, and get some extra. So yeah, it was a good couple of thousand XP, and that's really the fastest way of doing that. That one for some reason has brought me to the top, but now I'm at level 5, which is exactly where I wanted to be. Alrighty, so the reason I wanted to get to level 5 is so that I could get my half-cocked license and start buying some decent guns. So I'm just going to go over to this Ammu-Nation in Las Venturas, and if we go down to, or up to weapon license, we can buy the half-cocked. It's going to cost us 100k, which is a chunk of cash, but it's well worth it. I'm not going to go into details on getting the full cock, but you can do other missions. You can do shooting challenges to get that. You can also do the shooting challenge to increase your skill. But what we want to do is buy a lot of this really crap rifle. Now, it's not a sniper rifle, but it's still a good rifle, and it's really effective for taking out NPCs in particular. So you're probably going to have a hard time doing NPC killing missions without that. So I'll definitely wait to do that. But that does bring us on to the next topic, which is missions. So all around the game, all around the map, there are different missions. If you go /missions, it will show you where they are. You can also phone in the various contacts and they will give you a mission. But if you know where the missions start, like this one, which is Sweet, we're going to do this down in Grove Street. I would recommend that you start off doing Sweet missions, and the reason for that, which are these missions over here, is because Sweet is the only guy who doesn't give you stars. So all the other missions will give you stars at some stage, and if you get stars, you're going to lose your weapons if you get caught, and it's just a hassle. And yeah, it's not a helpful guy, that dude. But anyway, so I'll just skip through a couple of missions, and they are like a really fun way of making money. It does require a little bit of skill to do that as well. The other thing that you just want to note is that you can use your phone to call in a mission, so you don't always have to go back to like Sweet's place or whatever. You can just request a mission via the phone and they'll give that to you. So I would recommend playing around with some of the missions. As a newbie, I wouldn't really recommend doing other missions inside Los Santos other than Sweet. But if you go out to the countryside near Blueberry, you can do missions for Catalina or for Woozy down in Los Venturas. It's all good. So this rifle, it's gonna two-shot NPCs from a way back, but it's all good, right? So don't stress about it. So yeah, made some good money doing that. I did skip through the mission just not to bore you. I do have a mission video on Tenpenny. I'll put that up if you want to see more missions inside Los Santos. Tenpenny is one of the people you can do those missions for as well. But they are really challenging. You're gonna get a lot of cops on you, but they are fun. Cool. So the next thing I want to show you, I'm going to speed it up as well. It's not super important, but I just want to point it out, is scratch cards. So we found a couple of scratch cards when we were dumpster diving earlier, and you can buy them from the 24/7. And the scratch cards can be found in your inventory by going /N. And they're actually quite a nice way of making some cash and even unlocking hotel rooms. Now, I didn't have the best run on them in this particular instance, but it's quite easy to, first of all, make your money back and more after that. But you can also unlock hotels by scratching for 3 hotel icons. So I would recommend, like, especially in the early days, if you don't want to spend money on hotels, give it a try with the scratch cards. You might get lucky. And we're going to look at hotels in a second. They're not super important, so don't stress about having a hotel in the early days. But scratch cards is an interesting way of doing that. And if you do dumpster diving as much as I do, then yeah, you're going to want to get that eventually. So to use the scratch cards. So I'm going to call in a taxi by going /taxi. When a taxi driver accepts your fare, it should pop up that a driver will arrive soon, which is that one. And we're just going to hang around for a couple of seconds until this taxi driver arrives. And again, try to use taxis where possible inside Los Santos, because it is going to be a good way of earning XP. So I can see the taxi driver on the map. He's the gold icon coming around. There's also a guy in a Washington, that gray car, busy following. And I should have known that there was going to be trouble. But it turned out my taxi driver had a wanted star on him. And I want to go buy some clothing, so you can see that cop's trying to arrest my taxi driver. I wasn't aware at this point. I wasn't really paying enough attention. But we're going to head down to Binko. If you want to do a drive-by, you can press caps lock and then you'll hang out. You can shoot like Uzis, but you can even shoot AK-47s and stuff like that, which is quite cool. All right, unfortunately, the cops eventually got the better of my taxi driver and he blew up my taxi, which is great. And yeah, that was the end of my taxi ride. But it's all good. So we're going to go over to Binko just around the corner. And yeah, we'll just have a quick run. And the next thing we want to have a look at is, like I said, buying clothing. And we can do that from a Binko or other clothing shops. So if we go /GPS and you go down to clothing, it will show you all the different clothing shops that are available. And we're just going to do Binko. Some of the clothing shops are super expensive. Okay, so you could end up paying like hundreds of thousands for new skins and stuff like that. And you can buy or earn new skins by doing different jobs. So definitely check out the rewards for jobs and things like that. But I'm just going to buy this guy, Gunslinger skin, and I'll buy a couple of like hats and stuff like that as well. And then all of these you can change in your hotel room if you want to. So yeah, let's just go through, buy some stuff, get the hat, probably get some sunglasses with that as well. And then yeah, we're looking good. Cool, I'm happy with that. Now, next up, I think we should go and buy our hotel. So when it comes to properties, it's kind of two main types of properties or houses that you'll get. You can buy actual houses, so you'll see them around the place, and you can save cars at some of them. But the cheapest way of getting, I'm going to try my luck with this car, but it's locked, unfortunately. But the cheapest way of getting a place is for your hotels. Now, you don't really need a house, like I said earlier, especially if you've got an office. You can get your computer, your ammo boxes and stuff in there. But hotels are useful, particularly for doing heists. Okay, so you definitely want to check that out. And you can go down to GPS to find different hotels. And unfortunately, I got knocked over. This guy's actually pretty cool though. Thomas, he's watching the video. How you doing, bro? He's not a bad guy. He's actually one of the helpers, I think. But yeah, it's all good. So we're going to go in and we will buy that hotel. They're quite cheap, but they only last for, I think it's like 4 days. So, and if it expires, don't worry, you don't lose your money or your guns or anything in it. It's all good. Okay, so inside the hotel, again, we've got the safe over there. We've got an ammo box where we can store weapons if we have a license for those weapons. So if we just go over to the ammo box, if I want to store my AKs, because I'm worried I might die and then lose my AK-47s, we can just store them. Again, you do need a license for the weapon you're trying to store. So if you find like M4s or something, just remember you will need a license in order to store it. You can order pizza, but only if you have a house, unfortunately. And then you can order the pizza and there will be some health that gets delivered to your house. But I don't think you can do it. But you can do it in an office, so it's good to know. I didn't actually know that. Then you got your locker. So inside here is where you can change your uniforms and things like that. And then finally, you got your computer. And this blue board is where you're going to do your heist. We'll do a heist later on in the video. Unfortunately, there is a cooldown between your heists that you can do normally. So I will do a heist later on, but I'll do it from a different account just so I don't have to wait for that cooldown. And to do a heist, you're going to do like setup missions and stuff like that. Cool. So the next thing we want to have a look at, which is quite a key aspect of the game, is gangs. Now, especially as a newbie, I don't recommend doing gangs. I'm not a pro at gangs either, to be honest, but this is really where the PvP or the player versus player element comes in, and is where you're most likely to get yourself killed by another player. So each gang will have a headquarters which has that little red icon, and nearby there'll be some weapons. Sometimes those weapons will be out on the street, sometimes they'll be inside like the gang's house. And if we go /gangs, it will tell you all the different gangs that are available and how many members are in them. Over here, it should tell you how many hoods they currently own. Sometimes the labels don't appear, so you can go /labels and then that will make it turn on. And depending on how many hoods you have, will determine how much money you earn. So when you have a hood, or when you own hoods, you can come and collect cash over there once an hour. Well, it kind of accumulates. You can come back whenever you want and just earn and collect that money. The ability to pick up guns or use like the gang cards and stuff is also dependent on your skill level. And where you see flashing hoods like that indicates there's a gang war going on. Now, usually there's a red flag that appears when there's a gang war. So I don't know why one didn't appear then. And basically that's known as turfing. So if you see people talking in the chat about turfing, that's when they're doing basically taking over enemy hoods. So that purple is owned by Balas gang, and their headquarters is just around the corner. And we're just going to hang out over here. Now, the reason why I'm not like a huge fan of doing gangs is because it's either super boring or super intense. There's like nothing in between. So when you're doing turfing, as you can see, there's this timer that goes down for like 3 minutes, I think it is, per hood. And a lot of the time you're going to sit around doing this for 3 minutes and then 3 minutes again and 3 minutes again. But before you know it, you could be just getting shot in the head by another gang member, which did happen to me shortly. You can attack a hood by going /war or /attack, and basically your hoods also get attacked as well, but you know, people very rarely actually go in and defend the hood, so don't worry too much about it if you see your hood getting attacked. and we're just going to chill out here and wait for it. We can also see down on the map that we've started a war on 2 different hoods as well, and that's the best way to make money, right? So the time is going down on that hood, so as soon as this one ends, we get paid, we earn some XP and RP, and then we run over to the hood that's next door, and now this one's already down to like 1 minute and 30 seconds, so it's all good. This is the Ballas gang, so if you want to join Ballas, you join it over there. And this is an example of when things are either very chilled or very action-filled, right? So I'm just busy hanging around, it's all good, and then, yeah, people come from other gangs. Now, sometimes people don't always attack from other gangs, so you never really know, so I was just sort of chilling around, and then I got absolutely smoked. Also, I only have 1 gun, because I'm not dual wielding at the moment, and I'm absolutely crap at PvP anyway. So I got myself killed, and my gang members didn't help me out, which is also great. So yeah, died, spawned at the hospital, lost all my guns. Okay, so that's why I say as a newbie, you may want to be careful of doing gang stuff, because you are going to die a lot. It's part of it. When you want to do turfing, you have to have a gun. Okay, so if you don't have a gun in your inventory or in your possession, you're not going to get paid. So I'm going to ask my team by going /team for somebody to send me a gun. I am going to miss out, I think, on getting paid for this one, but my teammate did send me a gun, which is nice. I think, yeah, there you go. So he sent me a gun, which is good of him. I'm just going to say thanks for that. And then we are going to head over to the next hood, and so it goes. Okay, so it is cool. Like, it is fun, especially if you like fighting people. This is the way to do it. But it's not necessarily a good idea for newbies. You can also phone Emmett, and Emmett is basically, I don't know if I showed where he is. He's at the back of the Ammu-Nation in Willowfield. Once you've added Emmett to your contacts, you can call him for armor, and that'd be delivered. For some reason, it didn't show on my map. It usually does. It's like a green icon, so I didn't know where it spawned, so I just left it. That's just the way it goes. It's all good. I did do a couple of more turfs after this one. I did die again as well, so I'm going to leave it there in terms of gangs. It is fun, but it might not be that suitable for newbies. Cool. So the next thing I want to point out after this is another thing. It's not compulsory, you don't have to do it, but it is quite a nice way of earning XP and RP, and that's going to be storage wars. So storage wars, I've done a video on that as well. I'll put a link to that up top. And storage wars basically, as if you ever watched like the TV show, I think it's called Storage Wars actually. Basically, there's these storage containers, and you need to try and estimate the value of them. There's a little calculator on the left, so if you know what the items are, you can add them all up. And then you're going to have a bid against other players and other NPCs as well. But as a new player, we're not here to actually win the lockers. That's not our thing. We're probably not going to have enough money anyway. Maybe we do, but you probably don't know what they're worth, so don't worry about it. But what we do want to do is get a bid in, and we're going to press left out to get a bid. And we want to bid as early as we can in the process, and then we're just going to chill out. Okay, so we're not here to win, but simply making a bid is enough to get you the XP. So you don't have to win these ones either. And then there's some really good XP and RP that you can win. And we're just going to let these 2 guys fight it out. Sometimes they get quite busy, so you'll get like quite a lot of people coming through. Other times it's just you and the NPCs, but the NPCs also just bid crazy high anyway, so it's not always that useful, to be honest. But yeah, we'll let this one play out, and then we'll see the XP that we get at the end of it. Oh, so 600 XP, 300 RP, that's really decent, right? So not bad for doing basically nothing, just putting down a bid. Then I wanted to go do a couple more jobs, but unfortunately I found a bus that was like at the end of its life, so decided to leave that. And then I was thinking it would be a good idea to show you guys how to do security ban jobs. And as I was doing that, a security ban came past and I pressed left Alt to rob it, picked myself up 3 stars, and I can see that on the radar there's cops. Now these security guards are going to try and kill me, cops are going to try and bust me, but never mind that, we're just going to get the heck out of Los Santos. And yeah, so for that reason I'm not actually going to do security van jobs, because you do get like robbed, especially if you're doing it in Los Santos. Definitely don't do it there, do it out in Las Venturas if you want to do it at all. And yeah, it's a good opportunity just to show you how to evade and lose stars. So you get lawyers. These are other players that drive around. A good lawyer can let you lose 3 stars. This guy could only do 2. And then the last thing we needed to do was lose it at pay and spray. You don't evade all stars at pay and spray. It's only 2 if you're beginning. And also there's a little bit of a time period where the cops can still arrest you when you're inside pay and spray. So just be super careful. It's not a very fluid process of losing the cops. Cool. The last thing I want to take you guys through is doing a heist. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't show you my own heist, but when you're doing a heist, you can either do your own heist or somebody else can invite you into their house and you can do a heist with them. To do a heist, it's kind of like a complicated mission, but you need at least 2 people to do it, or to start it. You can do a maximum of 4. And to do it, somebody's going to do some prep missions. So my bro OG Tom already did some prep missions. And to do this, we're going to get into a special getaway car, which is just around the corner. And then we need to go do varying complexities for heists. So there's a whole bunch of different heists. I can't remember offhand how many they are. And they are in the different cities. The ones out here in Las Venturas or San Fierro are definitely the easiest ones because there's a lot less cops. And yeah, basically for this one, we need to go down to the police station, steal some files and get out. So they're quite cool. There is a cooldown between them, so of in-game time. So you can't just spam them over and over again like a normal mission. And they do pay really, really well too. So for this one, like I said, we just need to kind of go around, pretend we cleaners, search some files and find some stuff. And it's this one's actually quite an easy heist, so it was a good one to show you. But I would definitely recommend checking out the heist. You can ask in the chat if anyone wants to be your partner. You can also ask your organization team members. So if you go /O, that would be your organization chat. And you'll always find people in your organization who will want to do a heist with you. Just remember, take it slow and easy. So especially once you've picked up the cash during a heist, on your way out of a heist, very often if you get shot or hurt, you actually lose money. So be super careful once you got the cash. This one, it was kind of lucky because all the NPC cops on the way out, they shoot you with Desert Eagles, and they're like, the NPCs aim with Desert Eagle is really awful. So you could just run right past them. So we got the cash and I just ran out. Unfortunately, it stuck me at the doors. I did get shot once. We lost a little bit of cash, but really not much at all. And then for each heist, you usually need to go and evade all the stars before you can finish the mission. So that's usually the hardest part of it. Now, there's a whole bunch of stars. My bro OG Tom's at quite a high level, so he could like evade straight away. So the higher your level, the more stars you lose at the pay and spray. So I still have stars, but just because one of us in the mission has lost stars, that means we good. And when we bring it up, we're going to get paid. Could we get back to the like little safe house? And 170k. When you got your boosts on and stuff like that, you're going to earn a lot more. But good money, good XP, good RP. And then I'm just going to ask my bro to get his Washington, so his lawyer car, and then he can evade. So we'll go and evade. And while he does that, I'm just going to sort of say my goodbyes. So I know this was a super fast-paced video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that I covered most of the basics. So jobs, missions, guns, XP, all of the good stuff. If there's anything I feel I missed, or you feel that I missed that's just like really important as a newbie that you wish you knew, please feel free to put it down in the chat. And yeah, until next time, this is going to be Bob Moses signing out for SAMP Stories.